Yeah, so this is another of my news reviews that I'm doing. This is a story I followed for some years now. So it happened, I think, Christmas, Boxing Day of 2018. It's local to me, not so local, but in my area. So I heard the news when it happened at the time. So this lady, she had twin babies, twin children. They were almost 23 months old. And for whatever reasons, she drowned the children in the bath. So drown them in the bath and then dress them up, put them in bed back when they were dead. So dress them after they had died, dress them up, left them in bed, and drove off trying to kill herself. So she drove with high speed into a lorry, but she didn't die. And when the police found her, she said, you know what, I want to die or something like that. My babies, I killed my babies and I want to die. And I remember that story, breaking news, then I heard the story. And I didn't think too much of it at the time, but I remember thinking, like, what could push a mother? So being a mother myself, what could push a mother to that point where you decide that the only thing to do, is to kill your babies? Like, but one thing I've learned to do in life is to be curious. So we have this tendency to hear stories like that and just jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, this woman is evil, she's that, But sometimes if you just, at least for a minute, try and understand everything, the whole story, if possible, or from her side, and then maybe form an opinion or have none. So in this, I don't think I have an opinion in itself, but so I followed up the story a bit, and it goes this way. So they had a very good life in Qatar. So herself and her husband, they had a decent life. She liked the finer things in life, and that was good. She had those twins by IVF. Again, which was what was shocking to me. Like, how would you get kids through IVF? Like, it didn't come that easily, but still resort to killing them. So yeah, she had those children by IVF, and then they stayed, I think, a while in Qatar, and then they came back to the UK and came to Kent, which is different. so Kent is rural, it's a garden city. It's not, and the part of Kent that she moved into, I know the part of Kent where she is, that is like, yeah, not the nicest, not the flashiest of places, So they moved to Kent, and then somehow, somewhere along the line, they had a separation. So she separated from her husband. So two sides to the story, right? One side of the story is that she got depressed as a result of having to move to a rural area, maybe move away from friends and family, and then the separation meant that, of course, she was dealing with that. I don't know why they separated, but she was dealing with that, the pain from separation, and she was dealing with the fact that she was looking after these twins on her own. So that must have been tough. I mean, I've raised kids on my own and I know how that is. So no doubt at all that would have been tough. That's one side of the story. The other side of the story is that she was controlling. So from the husband's narrative, right? The husband's narrative is that she was a control freak, she was a narcissist, and she was abusive. And she did that. She killed those kids in an act of, trying to make the man suffer, to put him through pain, which is something that a narcissist would do without blinking. If they have their eyes set on you, they'll stop at nothing to hurt you. So I hear that side of the story, that she was a narcissist and she did everything she did to get back at the man. I hear that as well. But in the days before this happened, apparently, so from following the court case and all of that, apparently in the days before this finally happened, she had called severally to ask for help. She had spoken to her doctors. I think she had made like 14 different calls to say, I am suicidal, I need help. And I don't know what failed, like who dropped the ball here. And for someone to make that number of calls and still somehow be left with these children on her own. And this is something sometimes, so I live in the UK, it's something that I think sometimes we have a lot of signposting. So you call your doctor signposts you to a mental health worker, the mental health worker signposts you to no one really providing a real solution. This is something I've seen firsthand before, where there are just all these organizations and everyone is signposting you. So this one says, oh, call that charity, and the charity gives you some papers to read, or call this, and you just keep, and there is no, because what that lady needed, in my opinion, was someone, a friend, family, someone, just go there and say, you know what, let me have these kids, for a while, for a night, for two, you just chill, watch Netflix, have some alcohol, do something else, take your mind off the rigor of having to look after two kids at the same age. So they were the same age because they were twins, obviously, having to do that, and at that age, terrible twos, like, come on. What she needed was something practical, which I don't think happened. So again, that's another thing to consider, and this is where I'm learning to consider stories as a whole. Like, don't just get stuck up in my own ideas and in my own opinions and go, oh, a mother should never. Yes, a mother should never, but these things happen, and if we don't ask why, we'd never get to the bottom of the story. So she had that as well. So I think after the court case, she was sentenced to 10 years, of which obviously the man wasn't happy. It's too light, it's a light sentence. And I think the 10-year sentence, she starts in a mental home, and after which when she's well enough, she'll be transferred to prison. And I think the man was quoted as saying that justice has not been served, the sentence is too light. But part of me thinks, okay, when this woman was suicidal and having all these issues, surely the man knew. Like, why didn't you come and pick your kids? I think he probably had them on Christmas Day or something for a day, but that's not what she needed. Where were you? And this is, again, I don't know, it's a fault in our society where a woman is just saddled with that responsibility. You deal with it, it's your problem, and people are judging you from the outside, and everyone is saying how bad of a mom you are and how bad and how you're not coping. But the way I see it, there's more than one person or one group of people who failed those children. Yes, their mother was suicidal, but in fairness to her, she didn't keep quiet about it. She cried out for help. I don't think she got the right level of help. I think the husband was quoted as saying, oh no, it's the woman and the woman alone that failed the kids. I don't agree with that. I think that as the father of the kids, living in the same town, I don't think they were living in the same town, but the same county, so close enough where you could go and intervene and say, you know what, I want to keep these children, let me keep them for a week, you get yourself together. No, she was new in town, so I don't know if she had friends. If she had friends, those friends too failed, because sometimes what a person needs is practical help. Forget about your prayers, forget about your calls. Sometimes the person needs you to be there. So I think she just needed someone to be there to laugh, talk about something else, get away from the I don't know if that would have helped, but that's my naive opinion here. So it might be. So the question is, was it depression? Was it narcissism? Or was it a combination of both? It may have been. So it's any of these possibilities. It might well be that she's just a malignant narcissist and nothing would have changed that. Or the fact that she was depressed and she was not narcissist, or something in the middle. Again, these things we can't change, these things we couldn't have done anything about so much. You can't change someone who's a narcissist, or but what's failed here, in my opinion, was just, first of all, I think the husband, so the father of the kids, I think he should take some responsibility. I think he failed those kids. If he knew how bad she was, and knowing that she was that suicidal, he should have stepped in a more practical way. So I think the father failed those kids. Any family, friends, that could have been able to physically be there for her, I think they failed those kids. All of the health agencies, those people knew someone's calling you and telling you, I'm suicidal, and you know that this person is solely responsible for two little children. I think they failed as well. And of course, I think she failed her kids in the fact that she drowned them. If she had chosen to take her own life, the kids will still grow up, but to deprive them of their own life, I think that's kind of tops it. So that's just my take on that story. I pondered on it for a while, and I just think there's no right or wrong answers to these things, but I am learning not to be too black and white about the things I hear anymore. So let me know what you think. Thank you.